Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Say, where instead of playing the game, I actually talk about it. So in this episode of Let's Say, I am going to be talking about Verdict of the Blades. Yes, I am uploading this as soon as the final battle hits. Yep, the final level of this event. The reason why is because I want to upload this in time. So yeah, I never upload events in time. I always never upload stuff in time anyway. It's always a day after the event or the Spiral Abyss. So yeah, now I am gonna be uploading this before, um, before the 1 day delay. So yeah, this is gonna be on time, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, I am gonna be talking about the final stage later, but for now, it is time to talk about Verdict of the Blades and my advice and tips on the Verdict of Blades, and also give my opinions on it. So first off, this video is going to be unedited for the most part. Yeah, it's just gonna be me continuously talking. So if you guys don't mind that, then thank you. But if you expect editing on the this video in particular, well, check out my other videos instead. That has editing. So yeah. Well, anyways, it is time to talk about the well, Verdict of Blades. So here we go. So my opinion on Verdict Blades, it's honestly not that hard. Yeah, it's not that hard on Surge difficulty. Yeah, it's not that hard on Surge difficulty. You can basically beat this in under a minute. All of these stages. And I assume the last one you can beat it in under a minute too on the Surge difficulty. The bad part is Steadfast difficulty. Yes, this will really put your skills to the ultimate test. Or, in other Genshin terms, it determines if your roster is good or not. Yep. This is a damage check event. Yes, it's a damage check event. So, it's literally Spiral Abyss. Just think of this as Spiral Abyss, and you shouldn't have any issues, I guess. But, before we get to talking about the battles, I am going to be talking about ways to remedy everything and to talk about the strategies that you can use. I don't use them, by the way, because, well, I want to do this legit, so I can talk about why these floors are pretty hard, or the battles are pretty hard. So yeah, but you can use these strategies that I mentioned to make your life a little easier on Verdict Blade. So here we go. They are in the game anyway, so might as well use them, right? So first off, you could use food. Yes, use food. Use it all the time. I swear, use food. I use food too on some of the steadfasts, but most of the time I don't. Because, well, I do food first. I just beat it with food, and I beat the event without food. Yeah, just to determine how hard it is. But you could use food to basically make your life way easier than it should. So you could use, of course, restoring food. You can just heal your HP when it gets too low. Just in case your healers don't heal fast enough, you can just use food to restore your HP. You can also use food to revive your characters, like the steaks and the eggs. You can also use other foods as well to revive yourself. It doesn't matter what food you use, it's just, it has to revive you. So yeah, pretty good. You can also have stamina reducing food as well, so that you can dash a lot. Or in this case, C0 Hutao, she can spam her charge attacks. So yeah, you could just use that as well. Ayaka also spams her charge attacks too, so it's pretty good on her as well. You can also use attack boosting food, like the Adeptus Temptation is the most popular food among everyone who runs foods. It's because it has a pretty high attack stat, and it gives you a crit rate bonus of 12% for 300 seconds, which is a long time. So yeah, you could use Adeptus Temptation as well. You can also use foods that can increase your crit damage. I'm pretty sure there is, yeah, right here. You could just have a physical damage boost, but it doesn't really matter what you bring. Just bring food that basically buffs your stuff, like the Once Upon a Time and Mondstadt, which is pretty good, which increases crit rate and crit damage by 20%, which is pretty good. You could just use this. Basically just run attack boosting food, you should be fine as well. There's also defense food as well, like increasing defense or increasing the HP of certain characters, like right here. Or you can increase your healing bonus, which is also pretty useful as well. You can also run potions as well to resist certain elements, because there are tons of enemies that shoot out elemental stuff. So you can just use this to basically tank some of the hits for you, which is pretty cool. You can also use oils as well to increase the damage that you deal, which is pretty good. So yeah, that is basically all there is to say about it. You could use food to make your life a little easier. The food that I use mostly is just healing food, because my characters already do enough damage anyway, so further pushing it makes it kind of easier. So yeah, I just use healing food just in case my characters can't heal fast enough. So yeah. For the final battle, which is the video's last segment, I am going to be using hash browns, so yeah, be wary of that. And even if I do flawlessly do it without hash browns, I still recommend it. Just run hash browns or run any healing food. It'll make your life 10 times easier. So yeah, well, that is it for the strategies and tips. So now I'm going to be talking about the actual event, which is right here. So the first battle is Resolute Metal, which is just mechas. So yeah, you already know how they work, I assume, but if you don't, you use Oyster blocks to basically get rid of their mechanic, and then once you do that, you just deal normal damage to them. So yeah, you basically want to pick these up to deal damage to the mechas, which is pretty good. There's also a really helpful effect right here too, where if a character loses HP, they gain 60% increased elemental damage or physical damage bonus, which is pretty good. So the team I used for this should be pretty obvious because I run it all the time. I gotta put up the characters right here. I can find them.
Who's our target this time?
This is the team I use. Yep, Hu Tao Double Hydro. Oh yeah, I am gonna be doing this for the next 4 battles, by the way, where I just stay silent until I reveal all the characters I use. It's because to bring up suspense. So yeah, that's the only reason why I do it. So yeah, this is the team I used right here, which is Hu Tao Double Hydro. If you already know how Hu Tao works, and you already know this benefits her way too much. So yeah, you use her elemental skill, and then she loses HP, which means that she gets the increased elemental damage, which is pretty good. There's also other characters that you can use as well, like Lenny. Lenny also works well with this because he loses HP, which is pretty good. You can also use Kuki Shinobu. She's also pretty good too. She uses her elemental skill and she sacrifices HP to deal a lot of electro damage or hyper bloom damage, which is the team she is run on the most. So yeah, you can just run Kuki Shinobu or Hu Tao or Lenny. It doesn't really matter as long as a character loses HP. This basically procs. So yeah, just use characters like that and good luck. I'm just gonna say good luck because Steadfast is no joke. Next up is Inexorable Spread, which is the robot floor. Yes, this is all ruins. You have Ruin Graders, Ruin Guards, Ruin Drakes. Yep, it is the bee's knees with robots right here. So, this battle right here has a helpful effect for Dendro teams. Yes, Dendro teams. Where Quicken, Aggravate, Spread, Burn, and Bloom, which includes Hyper Bloom and Bergen, will deal decreased defense of 75% for 8 seconds. That is an extremely high defense decrease. It is really good. Super good. So, the team that I ran for this battle right here, again, drum roll, suspense, invisible drum roll.
Oh, you're calling for me? Coming. I've been waiting for you for ages.
This world is full of unsolved mysteries.
We'll need a strategy.
this is the team I used. It is the Nilo Bloom team. Yep, I used the Nilo Bloom team for this battle. So, the reason why the Nilo Bloom team works is because you're going to be spamming Bloom cores, and the opponent will be decreased by 75% permanently. Yes, there is way too many Blooms in this team, which means that this will proc infinitely, which is pretty good. Of course, you can just run any Dendro team you want. It doesn't have to be the Nilo Bloom team. You can run I'll Hate Them. I'll Hate Them's pretty good on every Dendro team. He's literally the best Dendro DPS in the entire game. So yeah, you could just run I'll Hate Them and you could wreak havoc. You can also run main DPS Nilu, which is pretty good as well. Yes, the Nilo Bloom team is pretty good. But people run her as a sub DPS, but main DPS Nilu is pretty good. So yeah, you could just run her as well. You can also run Nahida, which is pretty nice as well if you run her as a sub in main. She is the best dungeon support in the entire game, so you can just run that. You can also run Raiden Shogun. She's extremely good on Hyper Blooms and the Quicken and Aggravate teams, which is pretty nice. So yeah, there are a lot of options that you can use for this battle, but the main advice that I'll give you is use Dendro teams. So yeah. Next up is Engulfing Torrents. So, the effect here is pretty weird. So, Electrocharge Vaporize reactions on opponents. You will deal 50% on Electrocharge and Vaporize damage. So yeah, and if you get a Frozen reaction, your attack gets increased by 50%. So yeah, there are a lot of options that you could use. You could use Electro, you could use Pyro, you could use Cryo. Yes, the 3 elements. But the team that I used is really unorthodox and I don't recommend it. But at the same time, this made this extremely easy because of the enemies present. So yeah, the enemies present made this way easier than it should. And also made this team work. And that is really surprising. And the team that I'm talking about is this really weird, unorthodox, random team that I put together to beat this Steadfast. Yes, this is the team I use. Really awkward. Yeah, it's really weird. So it's a team of Raiden Shogun, Nahida, Zhongling, and Bennett. So yeah, it is really weird. But the only reason why I ran this is because Raiden Shogun gives energy recharge to all the party members, meaning that every single party member gives its burst really fast. So yeah, you can have Bennett, Zhongling, and Nahida spam their bursts all the time. She's also pretty good with Hyper Bloom as well because of the enemies, and Bergen reactions because of Zhongling, which is pretty good. So yeah, Nahida is also here for Bloom cores. So yeah, this really is the team that I ran, which is pretty weird. So yeah, Electrocharge and Vaporize. Yeah, that is mainly covered by Raiden Shogun and Zhongling. Yeah, I didn't even use Electrocharge and Vaporize that much. I mainly used Bergen reactions. Yeah, and it still worked. So yeah, you can just run a really weird unorthodox team like mine because all the enemies here are all Hydro, yes. So they are permanently on Hydro. So Electrocharge and Vaporize is permanent. You could just basically run whatever Electro, Pyro, or Cryo character you want, and you could deal insane damage because they are all affected by Hydro. So yeah, they are permanently affected by Hydro, so you can just run those teams. So yeah, you can run an unorthodox team like mine, like the Bergen Hyper Bloom team that I ran. That's really weird. You can just run a traditional Raiden team as well, which is pretty nice. Hu Tao works pretty well. You can run Ayaka. Ayaka works pretty well too. So yeah, basically anyone that could basically deal Electrocharge, Vaporize, or Frozen, which is the 3 elements: Pyro, Cryo, and Electro. So yeah, just run those and you should be fine. Next up is Horns Blaring, Drums Rolling. So yeah, in this battle, characters will get energy recharge and burst damage by 60% and 50%. So yeah, this is just a flat boost. Yeah, so you get 60% energy recharge and 50% elemental burst damage. This is perfect for Raiden, but I didn't run Raiden. Yeah, but if you do have a really strong C2 Raiden, which I don't, by the way, I have her at C0, then this should be easy as pie. Yeah, this is extremely easy if you have a C2 Raiden. But I don't! So what is the team I ran instead? Well, here's the team I ran.
Understood. I just have to stand here, right?
All right.
And yep, that is the last character right there. This is the team I ran. It is the Ayaka Freeze team. Yep, one of the most commonly used teams in the entire game. So, the energy recharge and burst is extremely helpful for these three characters. For Kokomi, not so much, but it is a pretty good burst option since I do have her at C1, meaning that she can do a lot of damage on her burst, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I can use Kokomi's burst in a pinch, but mainly the main uses for my burst are for Kazuha and Ayaka. Shenhua, not so much, but Shenhua is there to buff cryo damage. You could, and then you just use Kazuha Burst, and they basically get affected by cryo or hydro. And you do Ayaka Burst, which does a bajillion damage, and then they kill them. So yeah, that's the reason why I ran that team. And thanks to the energy recharge boost, I could spam Burst infinitely, which is pretty nice. So, what does this leave with the table? So, you can run animal support since there are a lot of enemies on the field that spawn, and you can basically lift them up, and they can't do anything else. They won't be grounded. You can run Venti, or Sucrose, or Kazuha, or any animal character you want. Yeah, this works really well since Burst and Energy Recharge is what animal characters do. They do their Burst, and then they have high Energy Recharge so they can do their Burst again. You can run basically whatever you want. Bursts are basically the bee's knees or the main kit for basically mostly every DPS in the entire game. So yeah, you can just run anything you want. I just ran the Ayaka Freeze team. You can run Huta Double Hydro or Alhaitham. You can just run an Alhaitham team, or you can run Raiden Shogun team with the Raiden National. You can just run anything you want. Yeah, there's really nothing for me to say, but use the best team that you got and beat up this floor. Yeah, that is basically it. Beat up the floor, beat up the battle, and hopefully you win the 3-minute time limit. So yeah. And last but not least, before the final segment of the video is Chains of Wrath. So, for Chains of Wrath, it is attack speed 25%, so yeah, you just basically deal a lot of damage really fast. When you use a charge or plunging attack, it'll unleash a shockwave dealing true damage. So yeah, this means that you could pierce through anything and you deal true damage, which is pretty good. So with the attack speed increase and the charge and plunging attack restriction, there is one team that I ran, and it's probably the best charge attack team in the entire game because literally this character rules on charge attacks, and there's no other character that can do charge attacks well as Hu Tao. Yeah, I ran the Hu Tao Double Hydro team again. This is the second time I ran the Hu Tao Double Hydro team on this event. So yeah, charge attacks are Hu Tao's bread and butter. She spams it all the time, especially at C1. In C1, she spams it 24/7. There's no reason to ever do her normal attacks if you're going to be doing her charge attacks if you do have her at C1. In C0, of course, you have to play around it. You have to do charge attacks and then do normals. But at C1, you can just spam her charge attacks, which is pretty nice. But also plunging attacks available. You can run characters like Kazuha. Kazuha has a plunging attack, so you can just run him. You could run Zhao. That is another character that spams plunging attacks. So yeah, you can run Hu Tao, or Zhao, or Klee. Klee spams charge attacks, or Yanfei. Yanfei spams charge attacks too. Basically, any character that can spam charge attacks or plunging attacks, you should be fine. So yeah, basically run the Hu Tao team. That's basically it for Chains of Wrath. And lastly, Charge and Breach, which is going to be the final segment of the video. So, might as well close it off here. and show you Charge and Breach. So, well, it's time to do my outro now, and then close off with the battle here. So yeah, well, anyways, if you like the video, and if you like this style of Let's Say, be sure to leave a like. I will be doing this for more events in the future. So yeah, giving my thoughts and opinions, and also giving my strategies on these hard events. So yeah, if there's another hard event that goes around, then I will be doing this style of commentary for this Let's Say. So yeah, if you do enjoy that, make sure to leave a like. If you enjoy my content as well, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It gives me a lot of support, and it gives me motivation to make more videos. So yeah, I really appreciate the subscribe if you do. And if you do subscribe, make sure to turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single upload that I do. Because I do upload inconsistently, but I will say I will upload once a week. So you never know when the video might upload, so make sure to turn on that notification bell when you do subscribe. Also, comment down below, what do you think of Verdict of Blades? You think it's easy? You think it's hard? You think my strategies are valid? Do you use food? Do you not use food? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to leave down your teams that you used for the Verdict of Blades. I am really interested to know what teams you use. You probably use like an unorthodox team like me on Engulfing Torrents with the Raiden team I used. So yeah, if you have any weird teams or any like traditional teams that you ran on Steadfast difficulty on this event, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. And well, without any further delay, thank you guys for watching this Verdict Blades Let's Say video. And to close it off, here it is, Charge and Breach on Steadfast difficulty.
I see everything. Share my knowledge.
Game's up. Time's over.
Seems like an emergency.
Shine down. Inazuma shines eternal.
Everyone hold hands. Make yourselves at home.
Here comes the catch.
Remember, health comes first.
Now you shall perish. Gotcha.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Game's up. Time's over.
Seems like an emergency. Bitter pill to swallow.
Illusion shattered. Inazuma shines eternal. There is no escape.
Hey, make yourselves at home.
Things are about to get dicey.
Remember, health comes first.
Productions.
Now you shall perish. Illusion shattered.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Game's up.
Seems like an emergency.